Hey everyone, today I wanted to share with you a Halloween card that I was working on today. What you're going to need is a piece of black cardstock. This is 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. It's scored at 4 1/4 and folded, so it's a 4 1/4 square card. The first thing that you're going to do, we're going to stamp a background on this. The stamp set that I'm using today is this one. It's called Heebie Jeebies. It's by Fawn. It's a really cute Halloween set. It's got a fun, couple of fun little motifs on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with this bat here. So we're going to take the bat, mount it on our block. And then we're going to stamp a random pattern using Versamark. Ooh, sticky pad. And I like to stamp off the edge too, just to give it, the illusion that these little bats are flying in from off the card. And I think one more little guy. All right. Great. And then you're going to take some clear embossing powder. And like a lot of people, I keep mine stored in little containers with a spoon so that I don't end up spilling it all over the place. Or at least keep the spills down to a minimum, because I do end up getting it everywhere. What would be helpful so that you don't end up with these smudges all over the place where the embossing powder catches is to use an embossing buddy or an old dryer sheet. And it's really great advice. I really wish I'd take it when I do my own embossing, but I always forget to do it. But if you do, you just come through with like a little paintbrush, dust it off, and go from there. All right, I'm going to heat set this, so it's going to get loud for a second. Okay, so there's my little background with my bats. What I'm going to do to bring these out, I'm going to use this shimmer paint from Stampin' Up. This is the Frost White. I just want to give it a good shake to make sure it's all mixed up. And then I'm going to take a sponge and I'm just going to brush over that to bring out the highlights here. I'm just going to kind of go over it kind of lightly. I'm just going to brush over it. You can go as heavy or as dark as you want. I kind of like to keep it somewhat light, and I do it in these streaks. It kind of reminds me of like a fog rolling in, a misty, kind of spooky Halloween night. And then I'm going to take a little piece of paper towel here, and I'm just going to brush over it to try to bring out those bats. They do act like a resist. So now you can see those bats a little bit better. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp a sentiment, and from that same collection, I'm going to take the spider web. I don't want the entire spider web, I just want the Happy Halloween that's in the middle. So I'm going to be using a marker to color this sky in. I'm taking the Dusty Durango marker from Stampin' Up. And I'm just going to go ahead and color that in. It takes a little time. It's not too intensive, too labor intensive, but try and do this without getting my head in the way. You just want to brush over the image that you're coloring in with the side of the marker as opposed to the tip. You can use the tip if you're filling in, but I find it more difficult to control it than if I use the side of the marker. And I usually go over it more than once just to kind of darken it up and fill it in, make sure that it's good. And if you make any mistakes, just double check, like kind of got onto the web here. You can just wipe it off. Okay. And then just take a piece of scrap cardstock, huff on it just to make sure that it's wet. Turn that so you can see it. Okay. And there you go. It's kind of got a little bit of a mottled appearance, and that's fine. I actually like that. And then I'm going to take a punch here. Sorry, I'm going to have to pull this closer to me so I can line it up right. And then you're just going to punch out that sentiment. Okay. And then to frame it, I'm going to take a piece of black scrap cardstock and I'm going to punch it out with a scallop oval. I'm going to take my sponge here and I'm just going to kind of touch the edge just a tiny bit. I don't really want it too much because it'll get lost against the shimmer paint that you already have on the card, but just to add a little touch to it. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach it with some adhesive right in the middle. There we go. Set that aside for a second. And then to decorate my card, I'm going to take some ribbon and just going to kind of line it up here. Grab my scissors. And this ribbon is already self-adhesive. It's designed for card makers. I think I got it at Joanns ages ago. I mean, a couple of years ago now. I think they still carry it though. It's called Haunted Funky, it looks like. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and attach this to the bottom, toward the bottom of the card. And lining it up. Okay. A little overhang there, so I'm just going to trim that off. And I do have a piece of this polka dot ribbon. I think I'm going to layer it on top just, because it's kind of fun. And so what I'm going to do is just run my adhesive along the ribbon. Saves me from having to, it just basically makes it self-adhesive, which is more convenient for me. And just going to kind of line that up. Oops. Not so much. Nah, that didn't work very well. Try that again. There we go. Flip it. And just wrap it. I'm just eyeballing it. It's, it's pretty straight, but there we go. And then I'm going to take some dimensionals. Just grab a couple here. And pop that right onto my card. Okay, so that finishes off the front of the card. Now the inside of it is black, which is a little difficult to write on. You can put a liner in here, but what I thought would be fun is I'm going to use some more of the shimmer paint. So I'm just going to take, again, some shimmer paint, and I'm going to pounce around here, and I'm going to create an area where I could write on. And if you go, I mean, you don't want it too thin. It doesn't have to be a huge blob, but, you know, kind of in the middle. And as you work it around, you want to keep it opaque. So you want, you know, not a horribly thick layer on there, but, you know, enough where you're getting good coverage on the cardstock. And you kind of, again, kind of mist it out. So it's got that kind of spooky, misty feel to it. Okay, like that. And I'm going to heat set it just to dry it a little bit faster, and then just to make sure it doesn't smear. So it's going to get loud again. Okay, that's pretty good. And then just for one final little touch, I'm going to take my little bat again, and this time I'm taking some black ink. I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black. And I'm just going to stamp my little bat in the bottom corner there. And there we go. So there is my card. And there's the front and the inside. And I hope you like it. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.